if I'm getting this quote right, but she does a lot of research, right? And she said that when we don't share the fullness of who we are, we're actually, part of us dies. And so being that, my interpretation of what she shared. So what you just shared, Lisa, is a really important piece for us to be authentically us, right? To get a hold of, wait a minute, how do we think about how everything works together for the audiences that we're called to serve?
And we're live.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, guys, everybody, now that our VIPs are on, can we share just the whole screen? And I know we don't have a ton of people on the VIP right now, but can we just say hello to everybody? Like give a virtual high five. And can we say, hey, come on into VIP? I mean, selfishly, we want you in the room. Selfishly, we don't, right? So come on in. We're having a really sweet time with the Q&A and going super deep on the things that will enable us to bring our message to the world. Okay, so welcome to day 2 of the Signature Course Workshop. Now, I shared this with the group a few minutes ago, and I actually want to share it with you guys this morning before we step in, because today we're going to tackle the system. Just write that in the chat, the actual system, the 3 steps that you are going to have to walk through in order to bring your message to the market. Okay. But before I do that, I want you to know that I was going to say you're not normal. Okay. You have a message burning inside of you. And how many of you think everybody has this? How many of you wake up in the morning, you're like, well, I'm not going to do that because everybody is already doing that. You may know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. Thank you, Pam. Like everybody knows that. Yeah. They don't know it. They don't, right? Everybody wants to come and share a message with this audience. How many of you have ever thought that? Oh, well, everybody knows about emotional wholeness. Everybody knows about family business. Everybody knows about deliverance ministry. Everybody knows about how to live the kingdom lifestyle. Everybody knows what it takes to be a matriarch. They don't know. They don't know. And they don't have the message burning inside of them that you do. Okay. So yesterday, I want to do a quick review. There was a sacred cow. Who can remember what the sacred cow was that we took down yesterday on day 1? Okay. It had to do with sales. It had to do with a bad belief that sales is slimy. And we flipped the script to sales is actually love in action. So go ahead and write that in the chat. Sales is actually love in action. It's service. If we don't get a hold of that first, then when you and I go to put our messaging together, we get locked up. Because we're like, oh, I can't actually charge for that. I can't, I'm not allowed to. Okay. So that's what we covered yesterday. Today, I'm going to talk to you about literally the 3 steps that got me out of a bad mindset and into a place of having $87,000 days, $94,000 days, multiple millions dollar days with information products. Who would like to know? Okay. Let's just am I radically different than any of you? No. Okay. I don't have some special sauce. It's not like, can we just get real for a minute? I flunked out of college because I was dating that guy and I was more interested in him than I was in going to my classes. Okay. I share that with you because I want you to realize that it's not like you have to have something perfect going on in order to succeed in this space. Okay, so just write in the chat, no perfection. Okay. No perfection. Write in the word authentic. Authentic. Okay. Authentic is what gives you your authority online. Okay. So there are 3 things we're going to cover today. And the first thing I want to share with you is what it looked like before I was authentic in my authority. Okay. So how many of you have ever been in that place where you feel like you have spent crazy amounts of money, crazy amounts of time, right, Pam? Right? You have done everything that they told you to do and it didn't work. Okay. Patrick's on right now with me. I don't really want to find out, but and I haven't asked this because we're not scripted. We just go live and we share from the heart with you guys. But I would venture to say the first year that I tried to go online, I spent at least $70,000 trying to figure out what to do. Is that a fair number, Patrick?
Yeah, I actually think it was 80. Because I was doing the math, I can tell you.
Okay. This and
not happy either.
Yeah, no. This is in 2008. 80 grand cash out the door. 2008.
It was a WTF moment.
What the faith moment. Right?
That's what I meant.
What the faith. WTF in our world is what the faith. Okay. And it's that space where I was like, holy cow. It was not good for my marriage. It was not good for my confidence. I was like, what the flip is wrong with me? Okay. Who in either like the VIP room or you're online with us right now, you're streaming, you're watching the replay. Have you ever been in that space where you're almost afraid to add up how much money you have invested without any result? Okay, Marilyn, right, Karen, Patty, like we're telling the truth here, right? That's part of the thing. Because yeah, go ahead, Patty.
Let me future pace a little bit. The moral, just if anyone's starting to get heart palpitations, the point is you're not supposed to do that. That is not necessary. And so that part of what Ann is able to do is navigate around that.
Yeah. But I kind of want to take you to a little bit of hell first, because I want you to understand the magnitude of the things that I'm going to share with you. Because if I just like, hey, here are the 3 steps, and I actually shared with you the 3 steps yesterday, you're like, I got it. Because that's what I did. I was like, I got it. And I didn't got it. Okay. So year 1, $80,000. I got it. I went to my fancy pants conference. I cried. You need to hear that story. You listened to yesterday. I bought a new outfit. I learned to put my big computer away. I tried to play the part, but I didn't got it. So I spent more money the next year. I didn't got it because I thought I had it. I spent more money year 3. I still don't got it. At this point, I am now like really under the house. Okay, like under the house. Okay, we have a basement picture somewhere. I don't know where that picture is, but we should share it at some point. Like it was bad. Okay. My husband, who didn't support me at the time, would come down with the American Express bill highlighted. Monthly. Made any money yet? What's this online thing you think you got going on? right? Okay, does anybody know what I'm talking about? It's not like I was spending money on purses and shoes or I was like trying to build this business. And I'm like, yeah, but I have a call from God. I'm not talking to anybody, right? Doctor's like, just donate the flipping money, right? I'll buy you a car, but quit wasting all this money. Okay.
Well, I should just say one of the mistakes I made was I thought of it like purses and shoes.
Ooh.
I didn't understand that you were investing, and we can get back to that later, but that was a fundamental shift that came because of how you changed.
Yeah.
But I digress.
So who's like going down this slippery slope? You feel like you can't get a grip and you're like, I'm spending money on software. I'm spending money on courses and it's not working and it's not working and it's not working. And you just feel like you're kind of sliding down a cliff. But you have a message locked up inside of you that you're supposed to get to the world. And you're like, what is wrong with me? Okay. What's wrong with me? So the first thing that I had to learn was that I didn't know that I didn't know. Okay, so write that in the chat. I didn't know that I didn't know. I thought that I knew how to take what other people were doing and apply it to me. Okay. But the first thing that we actually have to do, and I want you to write this down, is we have to account for our ability. And that's actually the first step in the 3 steps. Okay, write that down. Account for our ability. Okay. How many of you know how to play golf? Okay. Does anybody know how to play golf? Okay. How many of you, right, not well, how many of you know how to ride a bicycle? Okay. You know how to ride a bicycle. How many of you know how to ride a motorcycle? Okay. A bicycle kind of looks like a motorcycle, right? 2 totally different things, right? But if we don't account for our actual ability, we might get on a motorcycle. I'm like throwing my things out. We might get on a motorcycle and think, oh, it's no big deal. I got this. And you don't got it. Okay. That's where I was when I started online. I was like, I got it. I got it. But I didn't account for my actual ability. I knew how to ride the proverbial bicycle. So how many of you are getting what I'm sharing right here? Where we're like, I got it. I'm smart, right? But you've actually been riding a bicycle. And the call to the online space is more like a Ducati motorcycle. Now, for anybody who knows motorcycles, the ability to ride a Ducati is an actual skill set. Okay. And there's this big old gap between my bicycle with the basket and the bell. Okay. Just picture yourself, right? The basket and the bell and the bicycle. And like you got your cute, I got a bunch of ladies on right now, right? We got our cute little summer outfit on, right? We're riding the neighborhood. Okay. And then getting on the motorcycle. It's a radical shift in our actual ability, the skill set required. Okay. So it's important to me that we don't move past this point. I want to know 1 in the chat from my VIPs. 1, if you're getting what I'm talking about. Okay. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Lisa. Lisa actually has the basket with the bicycle. Karen, Pam, thank you. Thank you, ladies. So I didn't know that I didn't know. But I was too, I'm just going to say it. I personally was too proud. Ouch. I personally, I'm not saying this is any of you, but I was too proud to learn and do what the people who'd had success were actually doing. I was always thinking, oh, I got it. Okay. Coupled with, how many of you have people in your lives who are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? How much money did you spend? How much time have you taken? Marilyn's laughing. Karen is nodding. Marilyn's laughing. Pam's laughing, right? Because they're out there and they're going to tell you you're nuts. Okay. Why are you doing this, Patty? Like, you got everything in the world. Okay. But how many of you wake up in the morning and you have this burning call on your life that you can't quite run away from? You're like, I got to get my message out. Okay. I want you to understand that's not normal. That's you being called. Okay. So the theys in your life and all those other people who are telling you, stop wasting your time, stop wasting your money, they don't have the same call that you do. Okay. So God's actually put a spotlight on you and said, hey, this process is to gird you up. It's to empower you to win. Okay. We getting it? Okay. All right. That's the first one. So I want you to write in the chat, I will account for my ability. The online market space that you have been called to is the motorcycle compared to the bicycle. Okay. It's the motorcycle compared to the bicycle. And let me tell you something. I got my motorcycle license. Was it 2 years ago, Patrick? Or 3 years ago?
Yes. Yes. By the way, I found the picture of the basement if you want to show it.
Oh, I would love that. I would love that. I got my motorcycle license. Okay. Do I look like a motorcycle rider? I look more like the basket on the bicycle. But in the same way, we have to make ourselves vulnerable so that we can actually take an accurate accounting. Okay. That's the first step. The second step is that we have to train from a place of truth. Okay. So write that in the chat. We have to train from a place of truth. What do I mean by that? So when I first started in the online space, I was like, I'm going to figure this thing out. I feel like I'm supposed to go into this space. I'm going to make some information products. I'm going to train on this. I'm going to train on that. And I'm going to do all this kind of stuff. And I bombed. Okay. First, because I hadn't accounted for my actual skill set. I was like, this is easy. It's no big deal. Well, it is if you know how to drive a motorcycle, but it's not easy if you're thinking it's like a bicycle with a basket. Okay. So proverbially, I get my motorcycle license. I'm like, I got it now. Okay. Who can guess that I didn't got it? Okay. So I'm like, I figured out the tools. I'm like, okay, I actually need to learn from these guys. I need to listen to my mentor, Ryan, when he tells me to do this. I need to not think. So how many of you have ever heard, and it's okay, tell the truth. You've heard me say something and you're like, nah, I don't really think I need to do that. I know. Okay. I know, because I got two clients, Melissa and Dustin, who were like, I thought you were nuts. I only did it to prove you wrong. And they're like, dang it, she was right. Okay. So I share that with you from a place of humor. Okay. Because there are some things that when we hear them, we have a natural affinity to go, no. Okay. How many of you guys have kids or nieces or nephews and you tell them to do something and what happens? What happens? They always do everything that you told them to do. No. Okay. So our natural human tendency, which is not bad, is to think, I'm not going to do what you told me to do because I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to do it better and I'm going to do it my way. Okay. You guys know what I'm talking about. I think it was Alex Hormozy, who's done over $100 million with gymnasiums, said a great way to stay poor is to do it your way and do it tomorrow. Ouch. A great way to stay poor is to do it your way and to do it tomorrow. So that's the space that I was in. Okay. I got it. I don't need to listen to my mentor he's clicking on at like 30 million a year. What was I thinking? What was I thinking? I wasn't thinking. Okay. So I finally got to a place where I was listening. So I was like, okay, I'm going to account for my ability. Then I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I'm training, but nobody's buying. I'm training, but nobody is actually connecting with me. Okay. So that's where I came up with train from truth. Okay. You guys know what truth does. Write in the chat if you know what truth does. Right? The Bible says truth sets us free. Okay. So I'm like, I'm accounting for my ability, but my ability includes like building out teams for decorating. Like doesn't feel very fancy or very prosperous. So how many of you are thinking to yourself, I don't actually have a skill set or an ability that is super prosperous or is super going to make a lot of money if I put this out online? Like who's going to pay for what I bring? Anybody ever think that? Nobody will pay for my value or my worth, or I can't charge that amount of money, right? Pam, Jill, Marilyn. Okay. Like, I'm like, what do I have? I'm a decorator, right? I work in a home studio, which is really a converted garage. I mean, it's beautiful, but really, you know, if you peel back all the layers, it's a converted garage. Okay. So I come into the space and I'm like, so how many of you come into the space and you're like, I don't know, Ann, like I kind of wake up with this desire to share my message. I put my message out and nobody connects. How many of you have ever put out a video and you got like 3 views? Okay. And it was your mom or your sister, your prayer partner, and your prayer partner's best friend. Oh my God. Okay. Or you put out your video and one of your family members is like, what are you doing? Okay. Did that one land? Right? Like, what, where are you? Why are you at dinner? Like, I'm from a big, messy family. I get the peanut gallery. Okay. So I put this stuff out. I'm like, nobody is buying. It's like crickets. I'm like, what is the problem? So I have these moments with God. He's like, just tell the truth. I'm like, if I tell the truth, nobody's going to want what I'm bringing. Hey, guys know what I'm talking about? Like, And I'm like, fine. At this point, I am in that fine moment. Okay. Like, fine. I have nothing else to lose. I have nothing else that matters because my husband's mad at me because I've spent all this money. Right. He's like, yep. My husband was mad at me because he thought I was wasting time, like the whole gig. And I had very little to show for it. So I'm like, fine. What am I good at? What can I actually do that I have fruit that I can point to? I know how to take, now I want you guys to hear yourself in this, because we're going to take a minute here and I want you to write in the chat what you actually carry. Okay. This was my whopping skill set. You ready? Like, let me know in the chat if you're ready. This was my whopping skill set that I was going to make $1 bazillion with in the online space. Okay. I was really good at taking college graduate unpaid interns who knew all the codes for design work, but didn't know how to decorate. And I was really good at training them how to decorate. Unpaid interns who needed like credit for their college. I was really good at training them how to make spaces pretty. Like, does anybody think that there is a market for that online? Not even my mentor, Ryan, did until, okay. So I want you to write in the chat, if you had to tell me the truth about what your actual skill set is and what you could train on from a place of truth that you have fruit in, what would that be? Okay. What would that be? Do you know how to pray? Okay, creating something from nothing. Like, that's pretty cool. Right? Make rooms pretty, right, Patty? Okay. Overcoming tragedy. Overcoming the loss of a loved one. Okay, you guys are like way ahead of where I was. All right. So just say, like, this is going to work. Okay. Family businesses going and transitioning into the next generation. Okay. We have some legitimate things here. Dealing with chaos, learning how to live successfully. Okay. Much better than, like, I know how to train free employees to decorate. Like, that was all I had. That was like my big plan. Okay. Okay. So the second thing, train from a place of truth. Okay. So I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm finally listening to my mentor, Ryan, who by now, I don't know how much I've paid him. Okay. He actually told me, can I share something with you guys? So he told me I wasn't allowed to pay him until I did something. I wanted to like re-up, and he's like, I won't take your money until you get off the dime and do something. And I was offended. And he's like, look, I don't want you in the room if you won't actually take action. I was like, oh. I was like, I got credit. I got good credit. I can pay for your program. And my husband's like, I know, because I'm paying for it. Am I talking to anybody? Right? So I accounted for my ability. I listened to my mentor. I stopped believing that I knew better. And I actually went and did what he told me to do. The second thing I did was I trained from truth. I looked and assessed my actual skill set. Okay. Now, there are 3 different types of skill sets that we look for when we're accounting for our ability and training from truth. I'm not going to go into that now. You want to learn all about that, you can like talk to us. Yes, Patrick, you have a question, a comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, when you say train from truth and you assess your actual skill set, I have this feeling that a lot of people tend to want to diminish
Ooh.
their skill set. And it's really the opposite. And I think that's an important point that we just need to make for people, especially the people who are going to watch this in the Facebook group who haven't worked with this as much. Most of the time, we find that people assume that the people they want to help already know what it is you have to share, and that's not the case. And people tend to underestimate their skill set. So training from truth, honestly evaluating your skill set really means, I'll just say it, you don't want to engage in false humility. You actually have to step up and own what you're good at and say, I'm good at this and I can add value and I can help people. And if you're caught up in thinking, well, I can't talk about myself like that, you're going to be dead online, because we're not talking about being arrogant. We're talking about being honest. And as I've said it yesterday, I don't know if I said it in the Q&A or if I said it online, but one of our core values is that every single person on this earth has a gift from God. And that gift is meant to be shared. And that gift is unique to you. And you probably have more than one. And so training from truth is being honest about the gifts that you have and the things that you've accomplished.
We give it up for Patrick. Okay. What he just shared, how many of you have voices in your head that say, I'm not good enough, I'm not ready, right? Okay. Okay, now, how many of you also have voices in your life that say, what the are you doing? Who do you think you are? Okay. Who made you hall monitor? Okay. Let me just share. I'm the youngest of 5 girls. I could leave it there. Okay. Big family. We had AFS students. We had like 2 pianos in the living room. There was a lot of activity. I had a lot of good reasons to stay hidden. Okay. But God put this fire in my belly. He put a fire in my heart to share, and I couldn't get away from it. I couldn't get away from it. So I don't know who this is for right now. This was definitely not planned, but you have a message in your heart and a mandate to share that isn't going anywhere. Okay. Like it's yours. And you think everybody is waking up with that mandate and with that message and with that thing, and they're not. God put it on you. Okay. Jill's on. I hope it's okay. I have this saying with Jill. It first came out when I was dealing with Jill. Let's give it up for Jill Dingo. Okay. Jill is in the family business consulting space. And I was like, Jill, the crown has fallen on your head. Okay. So there are going to be lots of people in your life, like team signature course, who are going to think that they can do it better, that they know more. They may have more money. They may have more time. They may have less money. They may have less time, but they're going to think that you're not the person. But what they think, it does not matter, because the message is in you. Okay. Just say the message is in me. Okay. The mandate is in me. Okay. The crown has fallen on your head. Okay. So I am 5 years in at this point, and I am multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars deep. Okay. And I can't get away from it. So I don't know who this is for, but you only lose if you quit. Okay. I didn't quit. I would have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. I probably would be on a golf course somewhere with a gin and tonic in the middle of the day. Okay. If I'd quit. Instead, I've been able to speak on the national stage, train international ministries, train entrepreneurs, train consultants, work with people, develop information products for industries as diverse as like holiday decor to international ministry and everything in between, because I did not quit. Okay. So the first step, account for your ability. Okay. You have an ability, you have a call from God. Second, we're going to train from truth. No false humility. No false humility. You guys know pride and false humility are two sides of the same coin. Okay. So what did I do? And I want you to see yourself in this process. I asked you guys to write down what you were good at, learning how to live successfully, how to deal effectively with loss, family businesses, how to help international businesses. Like these are some legit things, guys. Okay. Ladies. Then I was like, fine. Now we're going to get back to my bad mindset from yesterday. Fine. I am not going to be salesy like all those other people. I'm a decorator. I'm a fancy pants designer. Who am I talking to? I'm smiling because I don't want to be unkind. Okay. And I was like, fine, I've got my program, I'll do it. And I do it and crickets. Why? Because I cycle back into that place. And how many of you have ever thought, well, I don't want to be salesy like everybody else? Anybody? Let's talk about truth, right? I'm not going to be salesy. Sales is love in action. Write that in the chat. Sales is actually love in action. Okay. I would venture to say that if any of you have ever had a date in your life, you are in sales. Yes, I said it. Okay. Right? You didn't show up in your jammies. You brushed your hair. You brushed your teeth. Okay. If you've gone to church and you've worn a nice outfit, you're in sales. Okay. You didn't just roll out of bed. You like appropriately coiffed your appearance to be appropriate. That's all you did. It's not immoral. But the enemy of our souls wants us to think that stewardship and presenting in an appropriate manner for the situation is slimy. Okay. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever wrapped a birthday present? Okay. Now, when you wrap that birthday present, did you just throw it in like a brown grocery bag and wrap some duct tape around it and throw it at the person? Or did you like maybe go to the craft store, right? Or maybe you made your own wrapping paper. You got the little stamp thing. You spent more money on the craft than you did on the present. Right? You got the bow. Who am I talking to? You got the bow just right. And you made it an experience, right? Why? Why did you make it an experience? Is it maybe because you love the person? Is it maybe because you loved them and you wanted them to have a really nice experience for their birthday? Okay. Why would you not do the exact same thing with your breakthrough in how to live successfully, how to do deliverance ministry, how to overcome loss, how to help a family business, how to deal with emotional wholeness, how to help an international business, how to be a matriarch? Why would you not do the exact same thing and take time and attention and care to package this thing up beautifully so that your clients and future clients have this experience of you actually loving them? Guys, getting what I'm dropping? Okay. So the third thing that I had to learn how to do in order to succeed online is I had to learn to market to monetize. Because if nobody opened that present that I was bringing to them, nobody got the breakthrough. The breakthrough would have died with me. And I would not be sitting here today. Okay. So I had to humble myself to the process. I had to learn to account for my actual ability. Instead of riding a bicycle, I had to say, oh, I actually need to learn how to ride the motorcycle. I need to learn how to ride the proverbial Ducati, because I think this game is a bicycle, and it's not. Okay. I would venture to say that everybody under the sound of my voice, you have a really big call. And the reason it's been hard is because you have a Ducati in your future. Okay. Right? Just write Ducati. Even if you're not a motorcycle person, write Ducati. Or if it's a Harley, right? Whatever your motorcycle is. Okay. Maybe it's a Range Rover. Maybe it's a jet. Okay. How many of you guys know it's 6 weeks for a dog, which you may hear snoring in the background. It's 6 weeks to 8 weeks for a dog to get pregnant and give birth, right? Who knows how long it takes an elephant, right? It's 2 years, right, Jill? Okay. So if it's taken longer than 6 to 8 weeks to birth your message, if it's taken longer, right, Marilyn, than 20 years, like to birth your message, it's okay. Okay. Because we're going to account for our ability. That's the first thing. The second thing is we're going to train from a place of truth, no false humility. Right. And the third thing is we are going to wrap that thing up in a present that brings an experience to our clients in our marketing, in our messaging. And we're going to give our clients and our future clients an opportunity to unwrap the present and have an experience through sales. Okay. Through sales. Okay. So in wrapping up today, I want to share with you what that looked like for me. My first breakthrough was not $100,000 day. My first breakthrough was less than $5,000. Write that in the chat. It was less than $5,000. And remember, I am like hundreds of thousands of dollars in. It was less than $5,000. My wrapping, my marketing at the time was a janky webinar that dropped and a $495 price point for Decorate Like a Pro system. How to decorate rooms that live as beautifully as they look, including how to customize anything, including the dog bed in the family room. Okay. If I hadn't broken through on that, I wouldn't be sitting here today. Okay. And so I want to share with you guys the mandate, the bigness of the message on your life is likely on the other side of what feels like a small breakthrough. But if you'll learn how to go through and not stop at all of those three steps, account, just write in the chat, I will account for my ability, right? I will. I will train from a place of truth. Okay. And I'm not going to quit there. Just write in the chat. I'm not going to quit there. Okay. Because I love my clients and I love my future clients. It's why you likely have the call. It's why the crown likely fell on your head. God placed it there for a reason. But he needs you to understand that sales is service. He needs you to not believe the lie that sales is slimy. He needs you to actually wrap up that gift of yours in a beautiful package, in a beautiful experience that you can give to someone. Okay. I'm going to end on this story. Hold on just a second, Patrick. We got a bunch of ladies on the VIP. How many of you have ever shopped for a wedding dress? Okay, whether it was your own or somebody else's. Okay. Did you want them to just throw it at you? Or did you wish, if you couldn't at the time, did you wish that you could go into one of those fancy places where they give you champagne and they bring things out so you can look at them? Okay. It's the same for your clients. They want you to love them so much that you're willing to create a space to have an experience that they can be invited into and served really well. And then when it's time, they're super happy. They're like, that's the one I want. Okay. We getting it? Who's going to look at sales differently after today? Okay. Thank you, Marilyn. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, Karen. Okay. Who's going to look at this whole process differently after today? Okay. All right. So today, your homework is the following. I want you to give yourself grace and rethink, what am I really being called to when I'm being asked to create a signature course for the online space? What is my ability that I'm bringing to the marketplace at this specific time? What can I train on from a place of authentic authority and truth? And then what am I excited about packaging up and creating an experience for my clients, current and future? Okay. You have something that the world needs. And if you don't steward it, it doesn't happen. Okay. So this is supposed to be fun. These are new skill sets. All right. Anything else, Patrick? Otherwise, I'm going to end.
I would just say, look, we've got account for your ability, train from truth, market to monetize. And a lot of times people get very focused on, but what are the tools and how do I use the tools? Do I need a website? And how do I actually create content? And what do I use to structure my content? And all these kinds of things. And those are important things. Do I do ads? We talk about all that stuff. But what Ann is talking about is what really drives what it is that's going to create, allow you to create value for yourself and for your clients. And that is the actual business of what it is you have and how you bring it to market. That's the thing that really drives this. The tools, the tactics are learnable and manageable and hireable, even more importantly. I mean, you could theoretically hire all this out, and you may say, I don't want to do that. That's fine. But it's the idea and how you bring that together and present it. That's the thing that creates the value. And that's why these 3 steps are important. So we can do tools and tactics anytime. We do it all the time. But think about these 3 steps and think about how it is it applies to what you have either done or want to do and how you want to bring it to market.
Let's give it up for Pat. Give it up for yourselves. I didn't succeed until I had a mindset shift about sales. Because I couldn't behave that way. I was like, okay. So have some fun tonight. Give yourself a good laugh. Shake it off. Shake it off and stop listening to people who don't have the call on their life that you have and who haven't succeeded in the online space telling you what to do. Okay. All right. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. If you're not on VIP, somebody drop the link. Get into the VIP room. We'll see you tomorrow.